Well, preppers, I got a very, very disturbing message from a subscriber today, and it's probably the inspiration for today's video, and I'm going to share it with you guys in just a moment. But there are many different levels of preparedness. More than 50% of Americans could not survive 1 month interruption in their income. They would not be able to afford food, to be able to afford rent. They would not be able to afford their car payments. Would you and your family be prepared if your income were to stop as a result of a mass layoff? What about as a result of health problems? Drop me a comment down below if you and your family would be able to survive if there was some form of interruption in your employment or your income. Now, this message that I got from a subscriber today, it pretty much just goes like this. I found out that I lost my job today, and my 3-year-old daughter and I are already homeless. I was saving up this month for a new place to call home, but I guess that won't happen as soon as needed. I'm on disability for sickle cell anemia, but $850 monthly will not cut it. I'm in tears and don't have anyone to help me. I'm not asking anyone for anything, but thought it would be appreciated. But just had to vent, I guess. Those who are assisting with our demise, who are elected officials, should know how I feel as a man right now. So, yeah, that was a message that I got from a subscriber. So I want to ask my community right now, are you in a situation where if your income were to stop, are you prepared? Have you prepped to the extent that not only do you have food in the pantry to last several months, not only do you have generators and fuel for the generators, not only do you have canned goods, for many, many months at a time, do you have enough in your savings bank? Do you have enough under your mattress? Do you have enough cash and liquid assets in your safe? Do you have enough cash? Do you have enough stocks that could potentially be liquidated or sold in the stock market in order to recoup enough cash to make ends meet, to cover rent payments, to cover a mortgage payment, to cover a car payment, to make your credit card bills, to make your utility bills, and to buy food in the event that there was an interruption in your income? Hit me up in the comments down below. I would love to know where my community stands in terms of preparedness and readiness. Now, a recent report found that 33.5 million Americans spent more money than they earned in the past 6 months. Now, this really doesn't surprise me when I look at the statistics in terms of how much high interest credit card debt that most Americans have. And it also found that the biggest rise in the paycheck to paycheck consumers was in consumers that very, very surprisingly were in the income range of $100,000 to $150,000 a year, which is up 11 percentage points from May of 2022 to 52% in July of this year, or excuse me, June of this year. So here in 2022, believe it or not, 50%, and you guys comment down below if this sounds just absurd to you or does this, make sense, but $100,000 a year, $150,000 a year in income, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck, you guys let me know if that just sounds a little bit off. Obviously, if you live in more expensive cities, New York, Los Angeles, California, San Francisco, California, basically probably anywhere in California, most parts of New York, South Florida, maybe Miami, Chicago. I mean, there are certain parts of the United States where $100,000 a year, $150,000 a year really just doesn't go very far at all. Now, I'm not saying that even in those parts of town, it's not like if you make $150,000 a year, it's the equivalent of you making $15 an hour. I don't think it's that bad, but the cost of living is significantly higher in those areas. Real estate's much more expensive in those areas. And of course, with the housing market the way it is, with real estate prices as high as they are, and those assets appreciating, that makes rents much, much higher. Makes cars and insurance much, much higher in densely populated areas. So, it's obvious why insurance policies for cars would be much more expensive, because you're more likely to hit something or be hit. Now, this report also, which was released recently by financial services company Lending Club, they showed that 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And this is very, very disturbing, especially as we're in the wake of thousands of layoffs from big companies like Tesla, Redfin, Coinbase, cryptocurrency companies like Coinbase, and many different companies are laying off. Recent email or recent notification came out that Walmart's starting to do some layoffs as well. So the economy is unraveling in certain areas, but believe it or not, there are still pockets of opportunity to invest and make your money grow, and also to make money, increase your income, make money online, create side hustles. So it's all about being prepared. It's all about being aware of different opportunities that are presenting themselves. And there's still opportunities in real estate in terms of real estate investing as well. Now, the total includes 203 million Americans, which is an increase of 55% from a year ago. So 203 million Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And in April of 2021, the report found that 52% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So last year it was 52%, this year it's 55%. So what does that tell us? That tells us that if this economic collapse that could very well happen, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be in a lot of pain, and they're not going to be prepared. 61% of Americans, basically more than half of those who are making $100,000 or more per year, are living paycheck to paycheck. 61% of Americans making 100 grand a year are living paycheck to paycheck. When I was growing up, $100,000 a year was like doctor money. That was, lawyer money. Now it's like you make $100,000 a year and you could very well find yourself living paycheck to paycheck, and that's just crazy. Now, if you are making $100,000 a year, you let me know. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Hit me up in the comments down below. Also, if you're not making $100,000 a year, let me know, do you think, if you were able to make $100,000 a year, how would you be doing financially? Do you think that you would be just fine? Or do you think that you would find yourself also living paycheck to paycheck? Now, to have enough disposable income to stockpile months worth of food for your family in the event of even, food shortages, potentially caused by a wide range of scenarios, including drought, railroad strikes, you've got shortages, you've got war, you've got supply chain constraints. So there's a number of different factors that could easily come up and put us all, or at least millions of Americans, in a situation where you may need to live off of your preparational supplies. What if a railroad strike hits? What if a food shortage actually hits to the extent where you can't go to Walmart or Costco or Target or Publix or Aldi's and buy food? What if food shortages got so bad that you literally had to live off of what is in your pantry and whatever is in your deep freezer? Things could get bad, and I'm not saying that they will. I'm just saying, you never know when you're going to drive to work and get in an accident. So you make sure you have insurance before you leave the house. And, being properly prepared is no different. So anyway, guys, I just want to share this information with you guys. Let me know if you fall into this category of living paycheck to paycheck. And also drop me a comment down below. If you're making over $100,000 a year, are you living paycheck to paycheck? And if you're not making $100,000 a year, do you think that you would be living paycheck to paycheck? And if you don't think you would, how would you be different? How would you use $100,000 a year in income so that you're not living paycheck to paycheck? Would you invest the money? Would you start a business? Would you save it? What types of, how would you allocate those resources if you're making 100 grand a year? Drop me some comments down below, guys. Drop a like for the video if you made it this far. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next video.